All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you doing there? I'm Jim Martelo, so I'm going to be your host today, and it is my goal to help you get started in this business as quickly as possible and as successfully as possible. So that is what the training here is about. I am going to be going through basically the 3 videos that I have created that are on my YouTube channel in the broker training playlist, and I've sent you links for that. So one of the things I just want to convey to you up front is that I'm trying to simplify this for you and basically get you on the phone prospecting, generating leads every day, and building your pipeline. And through that process, you're going to continue to learn the products, which aren't hard to learn, but you are going to grow within it. But you have to get started by generating leads right away, because if you don't, the business will start working against you, and you will not feel the motivation any longer, because if you're not making money, you're not going to be happy. But believe me, you can make a whole lot of money in this business by helping people, literally by helping people find the best health plans or dental plans, vision plans, and find them plans that are good, great for their needs. And you as an advisor help them, and you make money doing it, and you build a book of clients. And that's what I've been able to do since starting here with HST, and a little bit before when I got started in the industry, basically just 2 years ago. Okay, so that's what I want to try to teach you today. So please kind of follow along here on the training, and this is very, very logical information that we're going to go through here. All right, so we're going to get into kind of the meat of the presentation here. And again, as far as I want to introduce myself a little bit more, I just want to share briefly my background, my family a little bit, just so you know who I am. But we're going to do that overview of how to get started with HST and building, literally building your $1 million health insurance agency. I mean, you can do that. We're going to go into scripting and phone skills. It's one of the videos that I have created, and it really gets into it. It's good stuff, and I'm going to help you turn your calls literally into like a referral call. You can do that. And I'm going to show you tools for automating your workflow. It's cool stuff, not expensive. We're going to go into that today. I'm going to show you that. And basically, it's about lead generation. And oftentimes, as I talk to people, you know, one of the most common questions is, how about the leads? How about the leads? I mean, you go back to that Glengarry, whatever that movie is, that's one of the classics for salespeople. They talk about the leads. And it's just, you know, it's sure, leads are so important. And my strategy has always been to make sales, generating my own leads at a very low cost per lead, and that's what my methodology will teach you. But then as you make sales through the company HST, you get this monopoly money. And those are, if you call, these are like fresh exclusive leads, and they're like $18 on the system, but it's monopoly money. So as you generate business and you get more monopoly money, then you go into that well, and you go into it at the right times. And I can even talk to you about that, like, you know, late on a Saturday is a great time to do it. Sundays are a great time to call those leads. But that helps you, and you just get the ball rolling, and it's a wonderful thing. And then we're going to talk about putting it all together in next steps. And I don't know if this is going to be 4 hours. I mean, but because I'm really looking to simplify it. But right now I'm in a presentation mode here. I'm just trying to convey for you some good information. First off, my background. You know, I was born in 1957. Okay, I got out of college in 1979, and since then I've been in the world of sales and marketing, and a lot of it has been in corporate, basically outbound call centers. I mean, I've overseen call centers of 1,200 employees for MCI back in the 90s. And just that experience taught me just a lot about the outbound calling world, a lot about the technology and process and, you know, all those. So it's really helped me to get a good background here. And, you know, I was in a valley 4 years ago after I was part of just a corporate layoff at the age of 57. So that is my story and kind of like how I got involved with health coverage. But I do bring a really strong background to this business with a good understanding of just the whole world of outbound and getting through to people very quickly, and also a lot of the good operational skills that's helped me. I've been blessed with a really good family life. I mean, that's my family there in the center. We have 2 daughters. I've been married 35 years. We live in Tampa, Florida now, and I'm a native. We all are a native of the Maryland area. But, yeah, that's my blessing right there in front of you. So what more can you say? All righty, so as far as the company, healthcare solutions team, and I mean, just pay attention here because this is for all of you. I mean, this is what it's all about. Healthcare solutions team is a national organization, has sales of, last year we did over $275 million in production. That's huge, and that is growing exponentially. So we're leaders in providing private health coverage to consumers and small businesses nationwide. I mean, we literally can help clients with all types of solutions for their healthcare needs, critical problems, and we're really just getting started as a company, and it's just a really good culture that gives you that big company overview, great infrastructure and support, but you can do it your way. If you just want to make some sales from home and you know, just be very comfortable that way, you can do it. Or if you want to build a big giant agency, you know, all that opportunity is there for you. So that's why it's a wonderful thing. It's you offer a plan for everyone. So as far as this opportunity, I'm here to talk more beyond that because that's part of what got you here. But really, this opportunity in front of you here, folks, is just bigger than you can talk about in hours. But it's really about being able to build a very lucrative business for yourself, but not by yourself, and have an excellent lifestyle. And that's one thing that I'm really finding, and also by being very organized and being very centric and having all your records virtually. I mean, this business you can take anywhere and you can grow with it. In the world we're in, the area of providing health care sales now electronically over the phone is where it's at. And even as you get new companies to partner with, you're going to be looking for easy online submittal processes. So that's the world you're in right here. So enjoy it and grow with it. We have an exploding market. I mean, our industry right now, you hear about it on TV all the time, and we're smack dab in the middle of it, offering these solutions to people now. So our industry, the private health insurance industry, in 2016 had 16.7 million people. In 2020, it's expected to grow to 66.7. So it doesn't, you don't have to be a rocket science to see that by getting in this industry, and if you're in sales and you're looking to get in the right industry to right time, well, you've picked it. And we're going to help you get started very quickly here. So let me just tell you, folks, credibility counts. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about me. You know, I am teaching you how to do something. Well, you're going to listen to me if you know it works. So this is why I want you to follow me and keep it simple and let me help you grow. So this is just since I've started. If on the left side there, this is last year. This is production. This isn't some. This is. I'm sorry. On the left side is current year. I mean, this is where we're at. Beginning of the year, just these 3 short months. So I've produced. I'm 16 in the country so far. So you know, it is working. I have a very consistent process. And there on the right side, you're going to see this is production. This is paid for, and I did this in 10 months last year, and I put 904,000. This is paid, not submitted. So, you know, just please really try to absorb a lot of the processes that I'm sharing with you, and I think you will find that it's really going to be very beneficial to you. I was awarded partnership recently. I will tell you, this was one of the proudest days of my life, and you know, I owe it to a lot of hard work, but I also owe it to just being in the right place at the right time, and this is the opportunity that I want to, you know, help you all with. So with all that said, we're going to really kind of now getting into the core of the training about, you know, kind of where we're at and where I want to help you. The failure rate, unfortunately, in our industry is very high, and I've seen it. And again, as a mature salesperson, where I have the insight just to kind of look at things a little bit broadly than someone who's just getting started in sales right away. Unfortunately, there's a very high failure rate in our industry. However, for those who succeed, I mean, the rewards are unbelievable. And I really think that a lot of reasons so many people fail in this business is that they just don't know where to get started. I mean, and so I'm going to get to some of the core things that a lot of folks don't even think about when they get started here. So again, that's the point of this. Which direction are you going to head? Because it's here in the very beginning of it, if you are not in that right path, well, you're heading towards failure. And again, let's avoid that. And again, with the experiences that I had, if you let me work with you and help you with these tools and processes, you will be successful. So we're getting a little bit closer to where I want your focus to be right here is like year one. We're assuming everybody here is year one. Your focus really just simply needs to be on building your pipeline. And again, you have a lot of noise around you. Cut out that noise, because again, if you're not generating consistently, you know, these leads, and I mean 5 warm leads a day, I'll show you the math, is fantastic. If you can do that, and I mean, I did that, and I do it regularly now. But I do spend time on other things now, but it gets easier because as you get into year 2, you start getting into organic growth, and you know, and these are things like even using the technology to help you with referrals and all that. I mean, the business grows. But in year 1, the year that you all are in right now, this is the part here and now. Your focus simply needs to be on building your pipeline with daily activity, weekly activity, kind of like weekly production, and it does add up. It does if you just keep on the focus here. So this is my setup right here. So let's just kind of talk a little bit. Again, everything that I'm talking to you all about is very centric to virtual, working from home. You need to have then the right equipment, but it's great. It's very inexpensive now. Right there, that is literally where I'm sitting right there right now. And you know, I have a desktop processor underneath that I bought refurbished. I think it was like $300 from TigerDirect.com, and I give you the website there. And it doesn't have to be Tiger Direct, but I've been dealing with them for years, and it's a very reliable source, very, you know, really good place to buy inexpensive equipment, but then even like monitors. So those are my monitors, and that's all done through a USB adapter, VGA cable. You can get those on Amazon. So just make sure you got the USB ports in your desktop. That's really all you need. And again, I can help you with these things, but I do think that more monitors help, more screen space so you can work very quickly. You know, it's nice to get a webcam, because just like here, I'm going to show myself, but once in a while you might want to show yourself to your prospects. I have a Logitech headset here, and I like a corded one versus wireless. I just think it's a better connection. Sometimes people, when I was using a wireless, people were saying that, you know, sometimes they couldn't hear you, and I think that sometimes it goes in and out. So I just got a corded one. It's $25 at Walmart, the Logitech one. Just make sure you have high-speed internet, and you really should not be on wireless if you don't have to. I mean, you get a better connection if you're directly connected. That Cat5 cable go right into the back of your desktop processor. So again, this is a recommended solution. And again, if you're investing in your business and you're looking to get set up correctly, get yourself set up with the right equipment. You will consistently hear me talk about consistency. It's got to be that you've got to build this and understand the process here. And it's really about filtering. And that if you can just put all this together, it really simplifies it, because there's an endless supply of records, very inexpensively records. Now, leads are a different thing, but if you can learn to turn these into leads consistently, you've got the filtering process down. And even now, I have a couple of young ladies who do calling for me in the Philippines, and they're good. They're very inexpensive. They're very consistent. So again, as you move in out of getting started and you start building some business, you can then invest in other ways to help you with lead generation. But initially out of the gate, you're going to be doing this yourself. So let's talk about some math here. This is real math. So if you were to generate, if you look here and just look in the kind of like the yellow cells, 5 leads a day, that's 30 a week. Now the close rate, it's variable, it depends on you and so forth. But again, these are kind of leads that you've generated yourself. This isn't some arbitrary internet lead. So this definitely can have a close rate around 20%. That would be like 6 accounts a week. If your average premium's $350, it could be lower, it could be higher. You know, you got an annual AV of 4,200. You get 6 months advance. You'll start at 15%, but you're going to be able to grow that quickly, so you'll get above that. But at this pace right here, you're looking at making almost $2,000 a week. This is very realistic that you can do that in the business. And again, if you can just keep it this simple, getting out of the gate, that's the mindset that you want. So you want to build a lead generation process that works for you and your skills. So really, you got to think that you got to get into that granular focus and take control of your own lead generation process. Stop or don't rely on other people. You got to do it yourself so that it can be repeatable, sustainable, and cost effective, and of course consistent. That's what this whole methodology is about, putting you in control. So again, I'm going through the training videos here, by the way, if you can't see that. And this is really the same presentation, so I'm just speaking to you. But in that video, I talk about the key components to master to get started. And again, if you can just focus on these 4 areas, and we're going to get into that here. But again, who are you targeting? What are you saying to them? What tools are you using to communicate with them, and mainly call, text, or email? And then once you start doing all this regularly, how are you managing your activity? And certainly as you start getting warm leads and you start getting clients, I'm going to show you how then you can take that equity. You're building equity. You realize that as you're doing this, you're building equity. But now you're going to be able to leverage that equity through technology very simply, so that you can get more of you out to people very inexpensively. And I'm going to show you that. So again, let's talk about who you're targeting. Okay, who are you calling? This is a lot of folks. I mean, a lot of times people just go in an environment and they just kind of follow along. They just follow along. But I want you to take more control over yourself and what you're doing. So in general, when you think about who you're calling, well, at the very top level, are you calling businesses or are you calling consumers? You know, you've got to remember, who are we ultimately trying to sell our services to, our products? It's for people who are basically getting health insurance on their own. I mean, that's our market. And it's a growing market, as we know. But then within that market, you do have people, you have consumers, and there's various reasons why consumers are getting health insurance on their own. But then you also have business owners, whether it be a realtor, a truck driver, a plumber, electrician, you know, just a business owner. I mean, or even going after the group markets, which I don't recommend you do out of the gate because it's too long of a sales process. But you get the picture. So in my opinion, I stated right on the video, you really should just be focusing out of the gate, focus on the small business owners, the realtors. I have tens of thousands. You're not going to have any problem at all with getting records to get started here. And I'll show you a Sales Data Pro. It's $50 a month, and you're in control of anything you want to find. Realtors is a different story, but that's easy to get. But again, when you're now calling small businesses, you're going to be talking to people all day. I mean, to kind of put this on the other extreme and why so often there's a high failure rate is you get someone coming out of the gate. I've seen them. You know, they got a little Chromebook, and they're hand dialing numbers on their cell phone. I mean, when I see that, it's like, boy, I mean, that's just good luck. So it's just so hard in today's world, but you don't have to deal with that. I'm going to show you better ways to do things. But you first want to start off by calling like small businesses, realtors, because you're going to be speaking to more people. I mean, if you've ever called consumer records during the day, you're lucky to talk to 10 people. I mean, so that's just the way it is. But when you're calling businesses, you're going to be talking to more people, so more opportunities. So you're going to have now a straightforward presentation. Again, we're talking about consistency, something that you can get into that zone that you know if you just stick to it. No one's saying it's easy, but if you can stick to it, there's opportunity there. Very consistent, very fluid, and you just consistently generate that pipeline. And you also can get easy to find stream of records, and I'll show you that. I mean, I'm going to help you with it. I can, you know, but there's only so much of me, and as you grow your business, you're just going to want to take control. So you can get a subscription for salesdatapro.com. Even in one of the videos, I show you how how you can get leads, and they have videos on the site. But it's just $50 a month, and it's just billed monthly. You're not locked in. But that's your stream of records for business owners. And then with Sales Data Pro, you can go into like areas and SIC codes and business size. It's very, very good resource for that. But then what are you saying? In other words, second component here, what are you saying? And I talked about turning that call into a referral. Sure, you're cold calling, but you're not a telemarketer. You are a health insurance advisor. You help people. So you have to go into the calls that way too. You can't go into the call feeling like, oh my God, can I please talk to you? No, you really do need to go into these calls, and you're truly trying to help them. And you can. So you are a professional. So when you call them, though, you're going to kind of be peer-to-peer professionals. And you're going to help to turn that call literally into a referral to get your foot in the door. So right away, you need to create immediate authority and credibility in a friendly way. You're not going to be an ogre, but you do have to kind of right away let them know that you can help them. So you have to quickly state the reason and benefit for the call. And then you're going to have to get into the engagements. You're going to have to quickly find out, if there's something there. So you have to create some type of action, a call to action, and then you're going to respond, and it's almost like a path. And these are the nuts and granny. I can get into you more details one-on-one, but as you ask a question, there's going to be a response. And by you staying in control of the call, you're going to be able to know, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. I'll show you some scripting here, but it's a basic response. I mean, do they have health insurance? Yes or no? Well, if they have it, then who are they getting it from? If they don't, they're a great opportunity right there. A future slide will talk about that. But before I get there, we talk about what are you using, and this is from the original video. What are you using to call, text, or email? So right up front, your main calling technology, which is a 4-to-1 dialer, which we're going to talk about here a little bit, that you can get a phenomenal deal on right away because we were able to pull some strings here. But it's with salesdialers.com. I've used it, use it. It's a great tool. Your CRM is going to be with Radius, Bob. I'll show you that. I use it. Just great. And then if desktop texting with Android is Mighty Text. So that's in the videos that I talk about. All right, and Radius is a great tool. Radius can help you to create automated workflow for texting and emails by using features within Radius called status and tags. And you can use these workflows to help you automate your workflow, your activity for new leads. For when you have customers, you can kind of create that. I mean, I have reminders going out to my customers 3 weeks after I get them set up to see if they've gotten their insurance cards. So, I mean, little things like that. It's all automated, and they enjoy it. And again, they know Jim is there for them, and I am. But also through these tools. And as you get hundreds and hundreds of customers, you're going to find that these are very important tools to help you manage your business. You're going to have renewals, and that's a great thing. I send a text out on a renewal, I get a call, or I'm calling them. So it's a kind of a process because that renewal business is your book. And you're also going to be able to use it to get referrals. So I'll show you all that. And again, Radius is all about automation. I do have a full video on Radius on the YouTube channel. It's one of the 3. We go into detail. That's the longer of the videos. Okay, so right there, I'm going to put this back on here. Right there was the original kind of overview of the main video, by the way. That was the overview of the main video. But now what I want to go to in here now is more about the scripting. But that was the overview that basically talks about the big picture, about lead generation, about consistency, about low cost per lead. You got to keep it low, getting started, building that pipeline consistently. I hope you can just grasp, I mean, I know you can, but what I'm saying, it is really that simple in getting started. So that's what that one video was really all about. So let's go now and talk more about scripting. So with the scripting here, we're going to get more into detail here, and I've talked about having you turn that call into a referral, okay? Literally into a referral. And this is the same slide just from the main training. But again, show you, you have to get that immediate credibility and authority. But you know, you're going to get your foot in the door. I mean, you're a salesperson. To some people, you're a telemarketer right out of the gate. So be it. But you know, we're there to try to help them, and we truly can help them. So you have to just really have that at the core of your belief right away, and that certainly comes across in your enthusiasm and your willingness, and believe me, it just works for you. It's just a great positive, I call it self-fulfilling prophecy. So you have to get started that way on these calls. But quickly you'll need to state the reason and benefit for the call, and you get into that call to action. You're going to have to kind of ask them a question, and then based on that, there's going to be a response. But again, you then will have to qualify, right? You got to qualify them. And I've done that myself, where I've gone on and it's like, oh yeah, they don't need it for 5 months, and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I just spent 15 minutes wasting my time where you didn't have to go into that much detail. All right, so let's get into that a little bit here, okay? So this is something I thought was kind of cute, but there really is truth to this. So on the left side, you know, there's that robot golfer, and we know that's always a perfect swing, and that actually, you know, it's professional on the right side, but it's interesting. You know, the professionals, they lined up just like the robot. They're professionals, and they're able to deliver that consistent delivery. Well, in many ways, this is what we do when we're in prospecting mode. We have to get into that mental state of mind. The reason also why so often people fail in this business is that the most important thing to do in this business, people don't like doing. So people follow the path of least resistance. It's natural. I get it. We all get it, right? No one really likes to get on that phone for 8 hours a day and call people and maybe get a lot of no's. But if you know that you're good at it and you just believe in it and you know that you can help people and you are non-emotional about it, and you just kind of are repeatable and sustainable, you know, on the business, and knowing that you're going to end up making $250,000 a year by sticking with it, again, it's just getting you into that non-emotional, you're a professional, but you have to kind of look at it that way so that you can deliver consistent results. Very, very important. That robot has no emotions. That robot knows how to swing the ball every time the same way. And if you follow this methodology the same way, I mean, but you're not a robot, of course, but you follow the key basic philosophies of like time of day calling, keeping it time management, keeping control of the call, the expected results, and you do that consistently, your rewards are going to be unbelievable. So this is the components of a strong script. Really 3 things. Number 1, create instant credibility and authority. Okay? We're going to show you some examples here, the next screen. And quickly deliver the reason and the benefit of the call. And then number 3, you're going to deliver a statement that allows you to maintain control of the call. And again, you're conversational. You're not an ogre. You're just looking to embrace them and engage with them. So, but you do got to maintain control of the call because it's your time as well. But you will first need to qualify them. So you got to take it step by step. I assume everybody on the call is familiar with this, or else you wouldn't be on the call. But let me show you some specifics here. And this is also in the video. It's the same slide from the video. But let me just kind of, I'll be myself here if I was on the call. So, hi, Joe, this is Jim, and I'm calling from the Healthcare Solutions team. Joe, we specialize in helping realtors get strong and affordable health coverage right here in Tampa. And Joe, let me just ask, do you currently have health insurance? So, okay, I'm off script here. But the point of that, as opposed to, hey, Joe, my name's Jim. I sell health insurance, and there's some good plans out there that might be able to save you some money. Do we have time potentially that we could find some time so I could talk to you about it? But the difference here, folks, is that when you're calling somebody, and again, having control of the whole process, we go in and we say, who are we calling? Okay, so if you're calling, you do a little bit of just, you want to call truck drivers, then we find you truck drivers. But realtors, I will tell you, I think realtors are a pretty good vertical market in general. Because number one, the phone numbers you have are their cell phones. You have a very high answer rate, and they're active people. And you at times, too, can get some nice premiums with realtors. Who are over in their 50s and things like that. Sometimes you find realtors who are on the marketplace. So you've got a great opportunity there, and I can help you with that. But if you go in and you're calling a realtor, and it's truth, hey, Joe, I help realtors find the strongest, most affordable health coverage here in Tampa, and then I stay, I'm there for you 7 days a week. And I have a large network of realtors that I'm able to help. So that's why I'm reaching out to you. So right there, again, you just kind of got into the conversation and you put yourself in their shoes. So you're going to have a much better chance of now getting into that conversation. And you may not get that sale right away, but you're building that pipeline. And then from there, you're going to find people say, no, I don't have health coverage. Or if they are getting it, which you're going to hear, probably more, but great. If they don't, let's go, right? I mean, I can help you. What's your situation? What's your zip code? Are you in good health? Is it for you or your family? Anyway. But if they do have it, the first question to me is, okay, great. Are you getting it now from an employer or are you getting it on your own? That's the question. Which one? Again, you're staying in control of the call. So, depending on how you want to get trained here, but if somebody is saying, yeah, I get it from an employer, well, remember, if you're calling a business owner, you're calling them because they're a private business owner. So logically, they shouldn't, either they have a group plan or something, but that wouldn't necessarily logically make up with, one of the reasons you've targeted them is that they shouldn't be getting it from an employer. But if they are, it could be because they have a wife that is getting it and they're on their plan. And again, you oftentimes can offer family members much better pricing on health coverage than they would be able to get through their spouse's employer plan. I mean, if you don't know that, that's very much the case. However, you've got technology on your side here. You're trying to get low-hanging fruit. I've got unbelievable amount of records that you can call. So personally, if I got you on a 4-to-1 dialer and you're just calling people, I don't know, you're looking for people who aren't getting it, who either just don't have health coverage, or if they do have health coverage, they're getting it on their own. So if somebody says, if they say they have health coverage and they go, and you say, well, are you getting it from an employer? Are you getting it on your own? If someone says they're getting it from an employer, I wouldn't spend too much time there personally. I just wouldn't. But you're looking for that person that says, are you getting it on your own? Yeah, I'm getting it on my own. Well, it's fair game. I'm in the saying. To me, it's fair game there, and to say, okay, it's great. You're getting it on your own. You're a business owner. Are you aware that there's brand new plans here in Florida that actually can lock you in for up to 2 years, which is true. So again, you are that person that is that advisor. So get that advisor hat on. And I mean, so again, you're getting your foot in the door with these folks. You're sparking that interest. You initially created that credibility and authority. They're a friend of theirs. You help realtors. That's why you're calling them. You've got your foot in the door. Now you want to turn it into just an adult conversation. All right, great. Okay, well, what's your story with health coverage? And then based on that path, you got to determine. But I hope this makes sense. I mean, but it's the matter of getting your foot in the door, establishing that credibility, okay, and this is finding out what path they're on, and based on that path with your questions, you really need to determine if they're a prospect, if they even want to talk to you, etc. And then based on that, you will then ultimately need to qualify them, in the process. But that's the flow with the goal here, with the goal being you're trying to get like 5 warm leads a day, somebody now that you're going to be able to follow up with, a true lead now, not a record. So again, the flow of a prospecting call is that you're going to get your foot in the door, determine the status, qualify, and then proceed to next steps. I mean, it's really that simple in it. But again, get your foot in the door. It will help when you align with them. And again, even in the very beginning here, about selecting the records that you're going to call, you got to have the whole mindset here that you're not making calls, you are performing a campaign. Really, that is my mindset. When I now do things, I think of it like a campaign, meaning who am I targeting? What am I, same thing. And when you put this all through, and even going in the radius here, in the whole campaign, as you filter, again, campaign, filtering, funneling, consistency, feed it, this is what we're talking about here. And you're doing this consistently. So you're proceeding to the next steps. Now, the next steps, again, this is a kind of an overview of training, but it's the whole area of like handling objections, and you have time management and staying in the zone. I mean, this is all part of it, but that's our world, right? I mean, it depends how you want to look at what we do. I mean, I personally get charged up just by the art of our business. I mean, we're professionals, and it's the world of sales is, I mean, it's an art, and it's a very high-paying profession. Some people don't like salespeople, but at the same time, we do keep the world moving, and we happen to be blessed here with being able to help people with a good product too. So it's the good side of sales. But that's kind of what we're talking about here, folks. And then we're going to get into the next segment here of the training. But again, if you go into this looking like creating campaigns, because you have given thought to who are you targeting, what are you saying to them, and handling it to be customized for their needs, that's a campaign. You're just not arbitrarily calling numbers and just kind of out of the blue saying, hey, I can help you with health insurance. This is where I'm trying to, have you look at the difference of what I'm talking about here, and I think that you are definitely going to be understanding that. All righty. So what we're going to do here is going into the tools that I've talked about, okay? The tools, we'll go into radius a little bit. We're going to go into that next segment of that video where I talked about the tools. So let's get into that. And again, it's all about filtering. It's all about filtering and consistency, okay? I'll beat it to death here. Filtering, consistency, but again, that's what it's all about. And when you can get into this routine, you're building a business. And if you just do it consistently, believe me, it adds up. It adds up. By all means, get that equipment, because I'm showing you this here because here we're going to talk about tools, Okay, we're talking about the tools. So if you want to be able to use your tools better, you need something to be able to you know, work it on. So I can help you with this if it interests you. But I actually enjoy coming in to a decent computer than one that's clugging along. All right, so we talked about who you're targeting, what you're saying, you know, managing records. This is just kind of review here. We're going to get into the tools. All right, so this is not a hard concept to grasp here, okay? You go to Sales Data Pro, and then in the video that I have there for you, I actually do go onto the website, and we can here, but you know, that's what the video's for. It's not hard. Go to salesdatapro.com, and it's $50 a month. And again, for those of you who are just getting started and don't feel like forking out $50 a month, not a problem. I mean, really, it's not a problem at all. So I can provide you all the records and leads that you need. What I'm looking just for you, though, is that consistency. Be plugged in. You know, we'll get here. Connect with me on Skype. I mean, I'm a pretty consistent guy here. But again, so it's $50. One day you just might want to just get it on your own, and one day you're going to be getting it for your team. But that's what Sales Data Pro is. You can go in there, and you can then access consumer records. You can access small business records. Again, we're going to be accessing small business records. Now, for those of you, for instance, who might want to be doing Medicare, yeah, you'd go into the consumer records, and in Sales Data Pro, if you wanted to create a Turning 65 campaign by zip code based on population density areas of the country, which I could a whole different strategy for Medicare that I could talk to you about. If you wanted to do something like that, Sales Data Pro is a great tool because you can go and find that specific data right there within it. But again, we're focusing on the under 65 market here, and you would really be focusing on the small business records, and then within Sales Data Pro, you can go into SIC codes and area and employee size and really put you in control of what you want to do. So depending on just how fluid you are with the records, you know, whether you want to get the subscription or not, but it's so inexpensive, it's nice to know it's there for you. All right, and then it's a quick repeat from last time. I'm not going to go into it. These are the main tools here. But here, let's talk about sales dialers. Okay, if you go to salesdialers.com, it's a power dialer, and we're gonna in a second here. I'm gonna get off the PowerPoint. I'm gonna show you we're going to the browser and show you some things. But Sales Dialer is a awesome power dialer. It allows you to make up to 225 dials per hour. It's all virtual. It's all cloud-based. With Sales Dialer, you'll just click on it. It'll connect you to a voice over IP link, all from your computer. You don't need anything else. Get a good headset, but it's a quick connection, voice over IP. It does offer you something called local presence if you want to do that. If you're calling Oklahoma, it's going to give an Oklahoma area code. So that's awesome. Helps you with a better connect rate. It just simply gets you talking to people all day. And again, we talked about that initial part of the business, right? Where it's like people have no clue where to start, and you get these people dialing, you know, consumer numbers on their cell phone, and then, you know, 2 months later they're not in the business any longer because they're so frustrated. You know, I'm putting you right away in a Porsche. I'm telling you how to drive it, and I'm going to help you get those 5 leads a day. But again, it starts here with Sales Dialer. It's just so easy to use. Billed monthly, but we got a special deal for you here, okay? We worked hard to get it for you. When I was using it, I was paying $100 a month. Well, we've got a special deal for you guys, and this is going to continue. So we are promising them that a lot of people probably will be getting on as we build our teams out, but it's just $79 a month. There is the link there on it, and in a second here, I'm going to on here when we go in there, but that's it. And I believe it's in some training, but at the same time, that link, I can share it with you here when we get back on chat, but that is your link there to get that $79 on there. No-brainer, no-brainer to use this. You're going to love it. You'll be talking to people all day. And then Radius is a tool that I definitely want you to learn and get on. I can help you with. I don't know what I would do without Radius now, as far as, so it makes life so much easier, and I can help you kind of master it quickly because have gotten the experience through it. But it's a very, very powerful tool that you could use. And I also, in the video, it goes into detail. Actually, it's the longest of the videos, but it shows Radius. But I'll show you here in a second. We'll actually go on Radius here. And we're talking about automation, marketing automation, customization, staying organized. So with Radius, I'm going to show you here. We'll import records. We'll show you how to create status and tags. This is how you can kind of like enable your records to create automated workflows. And there's email content. You can send out really nice emails, and then you really will create automation as well. And I also use Mighty Text for desktop texting. I use Mighty Text for desktop texting, but you do need to, it syncs up with your cell phone, but it only syncs up with Android. So if you are an Apple user, and I know there's a lot of Apple users out there, this is not your solution. But this is just a desktop texting application. It's like $5 a month for the Pro version. But you can put your signature, you use templates, SMS. I mean, I can show you how you could send out 800 texts an hour and not bulk text with Radius. I can show you that. Again, so these are all these little things that some of these little things I'm talking about. This is going to be for those of you who ultimately, end up making, get serious about this too. And as we start working one-on-one and I connect with you on Skype, that's where that's going to be that environment. We can really just take this and monetize it together and take this and implement it so that now you're just not learning, but you're actually utilizing it. But again, Mighty Text is a good desktop texting application. But let me also share with you that, right out of the gate, and you're going to want to learn it regardless if you follow down this methodology that goes into sales dollars and Radius. But right out of the gate, you have Lead Master available to you. And I'm in Lead Master all the time, and I'll show you Lead Master here in a second. But I use it all the time, and I use it for the exclusive leads. And you're going to need to submit your sales to Lead Master because that puts the sales in the system, not to get credit for it. That's done when you're actually submitting the apps. But ultimately, though, through the system, you're going to put your leads through, your sales through, and that's going to generate monopoly money for you. I mean, it's a vital resource. You got a library in there. You can grow your team in there. But from a marketing standpoint, right away, it's got a built-in auto dialer. It does have all this stuff in it. I've just never embraced Lead Master. A lot of people have, but I just have found tools that are very inexpensive and kind of takes this and puts it on steroids, really, quite frankly. But again, Lead Master is a system that a lot of people use, and you can do a lot of stuff there, but I just didn't go that route. All right, so I hope we're doing okay. It is, we've only been here about an hour, and I talked about 4 hours here, but I'm going to kind of have some presentation here about putting it all together. And I really don't want to take a break. If you guys need to take a break, go to it. It's being recorded, but I just want this to be fluid. This is more of this is definitely a presentation mode. You're going to be having questions and that we can talk about more one-on-one. I think I could open this up, take everybody off mute here, and we can do some group questions. I think we can do that on the system here. But with that said, I now want to do the last segment of the PowerPoint presentation that's about putting it all together. And then I'm going to get back to you here on the a webcam, but then we'll go actually into the actual tools, literally on the browser, and I'll show you things as well. So let's get into that. Okay, so we're putting it all together, and again, that's what this segment here is about. So if anything, it's just review, and it's really what I just said there. for you really to put it together, you're going to also have to commit. So, I mean, and I know not everybody can commit right away, and some of you aren't here to commit right away. Some of you are committing, yesterday. So, different strokes for different folks. But number one, you're here, and that's great. So, if you're on this call, and I know if you're on the call, that means a lot. And if you're not on the call, it could be because you couldn't get on the call, but you're going to be watching the recording. So, building a team is a process. And you have to be respectful of people's time and needs. We're all here to help each other. So that's really what it's all about. But when we put it all together, at the end of the day, it does come down to you. So the tools and the thought that you put together are going to make a big difference. So I definitely encourage you to have a professional work environment with the recommended tools. Again, we're getting into some detail here, but if you can, like a desktop. If you're going to be stationary, I don't see the need for a laptop. I have laptops, and I can connect. I have like a main station. I use a tool called TeamViewer. I can share these little things with you, but it's free. And I use a tool called TeamViewer, and I can plug into my desktop computer from anywhere. So that's kind of cool. So if I always have my desktop like as a hub, regardless, I always have all those tools, the email and stuff. But have a good work environment, provide daily structure and discipline. You just got to get into that. There's good times to call, there's bad times to call. And so when you're calling for prospecting, you're calling for prospecting. You got to put yourself in that zone. You got to be very micro to yourself when you're getting started here. You won't have to be that way more as you develop clients and you can start growing organically. But initially, you've got to be very much like you're your own telemarketer. You just have to look at it that way. So you have to have focus on daily activity, daily leads, weekly production. This is where your mindset will need to be to put it all together if you're getting started. I just can't impress upon you enough. It will get easier. But if you look at it as a challenge and as an overcoming it and like gaining that strength, that's the zone you've got to get yourself in. If you're truly, want to be that multi-million-dollar performer, it doesn't come with a weak effort. You really got to kind of go at it. But with that said, you can make it like fun and like if you were trying to lose 30 pounds and you're not going to lose 30 pounds overnight, but if you said I'm going to lose 4 pounds next week and you do, and suddenly that was hard, but then the next 8 are probably going to be easier, and we've been there. At least I have at times, but it definitely gets easier. So it's hard at first, it gets easier, but you got to get in that right mindset. And you got to make it fun. You got to make it fun. You're talking to people. You're helping them. You're not a telemarketer. You're an advisor. So keep a smile on your face. You're in an amazing business where you help people. You're in a business where you could be making tons of money. That is certainly a good thing in life. Money's not everything, but money certainly can help in many of our needs as we grow older and retire. And one thing, money is important. And you are given the opportunity here to be making an incredible amount of money helping people. So if you make it fun, keep it fun, get in the zone, that is really what putting it all together and staying it in the zone is all about. And as I have said over and over again, I want you to plug in with me on Skype. So if we start getting where we're really you're committing and you're involved and we're going to have these coaching sessions, I will expect that you're doing it, for that real coaching session, for us to get the most out of it, it should be if we could get on Skype, because I can screen share with you, we can text back and forth, like we can share files and links and things like that, file sharing. And also I'll do team calls. When you get too large, I'll use an environment like this this is freeconferencecall.com. This is a great service, by the way. But this is ideally on the daily basis. I'm connected on Skype. And like I mentioned, I have a couple of young ladies in the Philippines who call for me, and they're on Skype. They have good English. but they're like right next to me, and I will say, we got to do a video call once in a while. I'm not saying that I got to do that with everybody here, but it's a matter of using the technology and using the virtual capabilities so we're like right next to each other. So that's why Skype's such a great tool. I just find it to be very helpful. And then the next steps, that's what I mean. The next steps here, for purposes of this presentation, though, we now are going to get off the PowerPoint, and I'm going to actually go and I'm going to show you really, we're going to go inside and we're going to see these tools here. But as far as the next steps in your career, it really comes down to, just getting your feet on the ground here and lead generation, filtering, consistency, and just making it so that you are building a lead generation process that works for you and your skills. And again, my methodology is very centric to the phone and the computer. I'm not saying that's the only way you can do it. That is the way that I have chosen to do it. I can tell you countless other people who are just knocking it out of the park by doing the opposite. They don't like the phone, and they're in the field and they're networking, and that's good too. Or maybe you do both. But in order to get the most amount of kind of best tips and some of the real core knowledge, yeah, I'm an expert in this area with using the computer and phone and technology, and that's just from the years of experience. So anyway, just understand that when you're working with me. That is my lead generation system. But there's something called the 3-foot rule. That means anybody within 3 feet of you, you're going to sell health insurance. And there's some people that make a very good living that way. All righty. So with that said, and again, we are not ending the presentation here, but we are going to be ending this portion of the presentation for purpose of training, but I'm going to keep the recording going because when we're done here, we're going to go into tools. So let's actually do that now. So, all right, here. All right, so this is Radius, by the way, okay? This is Radius. And, you can see I got a lot of records in here. These are all records. And again, I know initially this is all very foreign to you on here. But let me give you an idea of, let's say I got a new lead. Let's kind of go in here. Let's take you into the system here, okay? So this is a new week. I haven't sold anything. The week started today on here. But, you're going to go into agent leading board. It started this morning. But let's say I want to get a lead, okay? So this is real here. So I'm going to go into lead search, okay? Whoops, that's not what I want. I want into lead acquisition. I'm going to buy a network lead, okay? I'm going to buy a network lead. And, again, this is where I'm talking about. I have monopoly money here. And I plan to use some of this $317 today, probably later in the afternoon when it's a great time to call these, or maybe tomorrow. But here, this is an exclusive lead. It's an $18 lead, okay? So here's somebody in North Carolina. Okay, this person's requesting, this is pretty good, I'm telling you. Oh, this is a nice potential premium here. This is I assume it's a female. I'm not going to make the call here, but here's what I will do. Here's what I will do. And I'm actually going to have 2 monitors that helps me to do it. But what I will do is I'm going to take this, and I'm actually going to put this right into my Radius. Now, I'm not going to do this for every one of my leads, but when I get a really good lead like this is a real lead, I will go into Radius, and I'm actually going to go, and I'm just going to put in their first name, their last name, their email, phone number, and state. That's really all you need to do. And again, if you have multiple monitors, you can make this stuff go real quick, but you got to be centric here. And here's their email that I put in, and I'm going to put in their state. It's here, so I just put it in these fields. And with Radius, by the way, the phone number I always put in the cell phone field. You can put them in both, but I just put it in the cell phone field, and I select North Carolina. And then I have a lead status called New Leads. Okay, I have a lead status called New Leads. Okay, that is a workflow created. I will create this lead. I'm creating this lead. And it's just going to sec here. And now, if you go here, look at this. Look at all this workflow I've just created for this by what I just did. Right here, I've got an email going out at 10:06 right there. Then I have one going out a few days later. I got emails going out, texts going out for several more days at different times. Believe me, folks, this really adds up. I've got them down the road, and at some point they might tell me to stop, and I will go in, and I do. I don't continue to do it if they tell me, but I have an email going out here. I have an email going out, and it also puts it in a call queue. So, and if I wanted to call this person right now, I could click that right here, and it would call it all voice over IP. That's Radius. And then if you want to create workflow, you go into settings, and then I'm going to get off this, but you'll see it, how easy this can be. And here's like different workflows. You go into automated workflows. And here's that new lead workflow, the one I just said. That was one of the first ones I ever put there. I could edit it, but here it is. And all these are the different actions. And if I wanted to add a new action to this workflow, I would just add an action. And it's really that simple, folks, with Radius. And then with emails, the emails, if I wanted to send it, like if I just wanted to, let's say I wanted to send an email to this gentleman here. This is like a test account that I have here. It's myself, actually. I put in here. But if I brought him up right here, this is this account. I could text him right here. This would text him. Or if I wanted to send an email, I could just click here for an email, and I got all types of templates here that I have, and it just depends. So let's say it was a client. I wanted a referral. Okay, and here, subject line. Do you know it? And it puts his name in there. And then here, it would just say always connected. And that is, boom, I could just send that out to him so simply, and boom, email was sent. So that is Radius. Here I kind of showed you LeadMaster a little bit. And even with LeadMaster, you'll be in the HST library. Tons of information here. Tons of information. And up here on the right side, they talk about the most recent file. So I don't attend the live HST training Monday mornings, although it's always live. It's just along for my time. But like here are the files. These are the files. Like here, you could click on that file there, and they actually then put all the meeting notes. So like on my Tuesday morning, like early, I always have a little task. And here's like the most recent report. So again, this kind of shows you a nice of the kind of the big company infrastructure that you have. You got a big group here, folks. Big group. You're part of a large family. And so you're going to be getting really good communication there. There's a lot of video and training here. And again, I can help you with all this. And also you have here's my Mighty Text that I use, and like with Mighty Text, like that same lead that I created, if I just wanted to text this person here, put that in here, and then I actually, like with Radius, you got all these templates. So if I have a template here I already created here, and like here that link there is actually a link to a video that I created here. So I put my signature in here, and it's real quick. So as I work a lead, they're getting 2 different texts from me. They're getting an email. I'm calling them, and then I will call them a second time. So again, this will get into when we get into, if you guys want to get into that really fine-tuned level, if you're into it on our one-on-one coaching, these are the kind of things that I'm going to be able to show you to be able to help you even more in your pursuit. So